on Sequence.org, the answer to all your burning questions.
He's one of my biggest fans. All right. This is a Q&A panel, so it depends on you guys how good this panel goes off somewhat, but I'll keep talking if there's no questions. I'm Robert Axelrod. I do the voice of Lord Zedd and Finster on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, amongst thousands of other characters that I've done over the years since I started voice acting in 1980. I was an on-camera actor and stage actor, and I fell into voice acting. I was sort of lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. I was doing a children's show. We were shooting a children's show for ABC TV, an ABC after-school special back in 1980. And the studio next door was doing a cartoon show called Banner the Squirrel. So I asked the director if I could audition. And she said, "You're working next door?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, sure." Since I was already working, they like you better when you're working. You know, it's just a thing. And so I auditioned and I got the lead role of Banner the Squirrel. So we did 10 episodes of anime. It turned out to be anime for very young kids. And that's how I learned how to do anime. I learned how to dub English into foreign cartoons. And from then on, it just snowballed. It was a very good time for anime in Los Angeles. It was just blossoming. So I'm just getting over laryngitis and the flu of some kind. There's all these exotic versions of the flu out. So I guess I caught one of them. Red Bull. I don't get off on this stuff. I don't know what it says. Energy drink, I don't know. Anyway, so that's how I got into voice acting. And a scant 14 years later, 13 years later, the Power Rangers came about. And that catapulted me up into stardom, I guess you'd call it, or something like that. Anybody have any questions about Power Rangers or such so far? Oh, good.
That was good timing.
Can you get a mic to this gentleman?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Well, Todd Habercorn is here.
Hey, how you doing today?
Okay.
Good. Well, the question is, have you heard about the new Power Ranger movie, and are you involved with it?
Yes, I've heard about the new movie. So far, I am not involved in it. They haven't asked me. The latest rumor, there's been a lot of rumors about this movie, how big a budget it's going to be. The latest rumor about a month and a half ago was that Meryl Streep has been engaged to play Rita, or has been asked to play Rita. I don't know if she's accepted it or anything, but it's a rumor that's going around. Where that leaves who will play Lord Zedd, way up in the air. I know a lot of fans who mentioned they'd be very angry if they didn't hear the regular Lord Zedd voice. But if they hire Meryl Streep for Rita Repulsa, anything goes with Lord Zedd. They could hire a big star for Lord Zedd and just change the voice and see if they can get away with it. Who knows? I sort of don't worry about it. You know, they know where to find me if they need me, and we'll leave it at that. Yeah, but so far I haven't been contacted for anything yet. And there's been no, as far as I know, there's been no start date for the project or whether there's a script even written. My friend Kerrigan Mayhem, who voiced Goldar, heard someplace that there is a script and Rita is in it and Goldar is in it and Lord Zedd is in it. So, who knows? That's another rumor. Another question? Yes, sir. Come up to the microphone there.
First off, thanks for being a part of our childhood. What made it awesome. And I'd like to ask, what was your first thoughts on seeing the Lord Zedd character before doing the voice?
Oh, okay, good question. When I first auditioned for the Lord Zedd character, I was not given an artist rendering of the character. So I didn't know what he looked like. I just sort of guessed. I was given a description, just a vague description, and I figured he would be big and lordly because Darth Vader was hot at the time, and you know, you steal from the best. And so I figured he would be Darth Vader-like in composure, slow and menacing. So I went on that, and the voice I just developed from, so my thoughts were he was going to be, they're pretty much looking for some ideas. They're looking for the voice people to bring in an idea. So I brought in a real firm idea of how the character should be done. I developed the voice from another voice I had done for a project that I auditioned for and didn't get the job. But I reworked that voice into Lord Zedd's voice by making it deeper. And I went in with that, and they liked my reading. I'm pretty good at script interpretation, so they liked that. And I gave them sort of a Shakespearean dignity about it. So they went for it. I had to audition 3 times. So, but at no time did I think I stuck to my guns on it all 3 times. I didn't change it around, trying to second guess what they're looking for. I just went for it, and finally got hired. Another question? Yes, sir, guy in red.
Which of the Rangers was your favorite?
Well, let's see. I like the Yellow Ranger.
Which one?
The original. I sort of had a crush on her. But I only met her a couple of times, of course, because I would work in post-production in the sound booth while they were busy out on the set. So, and at that time I was just doing Finster when she was on the show. Lord Zedd hadn't been invented yet, but she was my favorite. I liked Tommy too, and I liked Zach, Walter playing Zach. Yeah. Another question? Yes, sir.
How does it feel to be probably the most iconic villain in Power Ranger history?
It feels really good. I guess I did my job. You fans are the greatest, because I get a lot of comments about you made my childhood and you scared the shit out of me. And I was doing my job, and of course the most difficult point for me was when they married Zedd off to Rita, and they made them more comedic. I thought that was a compromise of the character, but they were sort of forced to do that because the parents were writing in and calling in that Lord Zedd was giving their kids nightmares. And so they dumbed the character down somewhat. They didn't go too far, because the character was already established. They didn't go too far, but they went pretty far. Yeah, another question?
So really, in a way, Lord Zedd lost twice. Every time he gets the Power Rangers, and he had to get married to Rita.
Say that again? Get up to the microphone, because that sounded good.
I said, So really, he kind of lost twice on that. Every time to the Power Rangers, and he had to get married to Rita.
Every time the Power Rangers
I
what?
said he kind of lost twice in that then.
Yeah.
He lost every time to the Power Rangers, and he had to get married to Rita.
Yeah,
Not even his choice, too.
yeah. Another question? Yes,
What was your favorite episode when you were Lord Zedd or Finster?
my favorite episode?
Yeah.
Well, I have a lot of favorite episodes. I like the first episode when Lord Zedd was introduced. I have that on DVD. I'm going to be playing the best of Robert Axelrod tomorrow in here on the screen. I have 2 DVDs of work I've done. That should be entertaining. And I have an edited down version of the first episode that Lord Zedd appears in. So that should be fun to watch. That was one of my favorites. And some of my favorites were when he was in Serpentera. Serpentera was my Zord, so I felt very, that's my Zord. And he was bigger than, Serpentera was bigger than their little puny Zords. So those are my favorite, those are some of my favorite episodes. There were a lot of them. A lot of them. Some episodes were a little boring, but yes?
Were there any behind-the-scenes
Get
moments?
closer to the microphone.
Were there any behind-the-scenes moments that you really enjoyed when you were working on the Power Rangers?
Well, I tell you, I really enjoyed when we did the live show. Did anybody see the live show? Maybe you were too young to see the live show. The live show went out, I think in 96 and 97, if I remember correctly. And we did the live show. Now, normally they would just bring us in one at a time and do line after line after line after line. It's finished by, go home, get your check on the way out. And, but for the live show, we all worked together. We were all sitting in a big circle, and we got into the big studio. And we all sat with music stands and the script in front of us, and we all worked together. It was a big 12, 14-hour session, and we did the whole soundtrack in one big session. We broke for lunch and dinner, and that was fun. Because behind the scenes, we got to meet and greet each other, and work with each other actually, instead of that other way, which is just dry and dry. So that was a fun behind-the-scenes thing. I had fun with Scott Page. Was a buddy of mine. He was the director. He was the post-production director, and we'd have a good time in the studio. So when we had to rewrite, that was a lot of fun, because when they shot the action footage with Zedd, the guy playing Zedd in the suit was given the lines to recite, and he did the lines way too fast. So we had to constantly edit in the studio before I would do the lines go on tape, because he would go da 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 da. We're going to real fast, and I wanted Lord Zedd to be slow and meaningful and heavy and plotting and that kind of thing. So we had to edit down a lot of the dialogue to maintain the essence of it, because Zedd carried a lot of the storyline in this dialogue, a lot of exposition. It's called exposition. So we had to make sure that was in, but we had to trim a lot of extraneous stuff. And still there were certain lines that I had to say way too fast for my taste. But that's showbiz. You know, you got to work with what you got. I tried to explain it to him, the guy who's playing Zedd in the suit. One night we were at a rap party for the third season or fourth season, but he was already had a few drinks, so he wasn't receiving anything real sensibly, so I gave up. I just thought, well, we'll work with him as he is. No sense in trying to explain something to somebody who's whacked out of his mind. He wasn't an alcoholic, he was just liked to drink at parties, I guess, but so did I at one time. Anyway, another question? Yes, sir. Speak right into the microphone now.
As far as the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, how would you really compare them to the modern Power Rangers? I mean, now the weapons are just beyond what they really used to be. Everything's so overpowered, their abilities are way more, but it just seems like everything's gotten too easy.
Everything's gotten to what?
Too easy.
Too easy. Yeah, well, in my day, there was a certain reality to it, that Lord Zedd was a lot more formidable than the bad guys they have now. So it got to, there was danger, and it gave the Power Rangers more credibility and made them more into heroes because they were able to defeat Lord Zedd, who was a formidable opponent. Now it's all just clowning around, really. So I don't even follow the show anymore. I don't even know when it's on. What station does it play on? Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Nickelodeon, yeah. I'll have to catch it one time and see what's going on. It's on Saturday morning? Or is it on 5 days a week? Saturdays, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way I feel about it. I'm just hoping they do the movie justice. They do the show justice with the movie. It doesn't become too ridiculous. But you know, with the Hollywood mentality, it's you never know. You get too many people, too many chefs, and not enough. Too many chefs sticking their 2 cents in. And the result gets somewhat watered down because there's so many chefs. Another question? Yes, sir.
Of all the voices you did, what was your favorite voice to do?
Say again?
Of all the character voices you did,
Yeah.
which one was your favorite?
My favorite, well, Zedd actually was in Finster, naturally. But I also liked, we did a show called Wowzer that was on the Family Channel that I played Ratso Katso, the talking cat. And he was a good, he was one of my favorites. And then we did a show called Hello Spencer, which was a Muppet-type puppet show from Germany that we dubbed English into. And I played Elmer, the sidekick. Yeah, it was sort of like, same concept as our friend Kermit here. Hello Spencer was a town full of funny-looking people who were puppets, and the shows were actually very charming. I wrote a lot of the episodes, and it was very tough to write because a lot of the times the characters were all talking at the same time, and you had to write lines for every one of them. Even though they would be talking at the same time, you had to write sensible lines and pick out which one was more important than the other line, and it was a good writer's workout. It was like writing 3 scripts at once for the same money. But it was very rewarding. And it turned out, the punchline is, it turned out we had a time slot in LA of 6 o'clock in the morning on Channel 5. So who's up at 6 in the morning to watch this show? Just the little kids And it wasn't for little kids, it was for older kids and adults. Anyway. Another question? Yes, ma'am.
What were your favorite, between Armadillomon and Wizardmon, which one was your favorite to voice?
Oh, I liked Wizardmon. Armadillomon didn't have much to say, really, and but he was a neat character. But Wizardmon was really close to my heart because I was able to use pretty much my own voice, just a younger version of me, and he was a neat character. He had a nice arc, and they had to bump him off at the end of his 4th episode, but he was a very, very nice, had a lot of nice moments. It was a nice acting workout for me.
I got
Yes.
it.
We'll get to you next. Yes.
I can't see anything on the side.
Warm in here.
So what was your favorite show to watch as a kid?
Oh, my favorite show to watch as a kid. Wow. I like Twilight Zone. I was pretty sophisticated television. I like Soupy Sales too. Soupy Sales is my favorite. The old Soupy Sales when he did the show out of Detroit, and he had Frank Adler with him. He had 2 sidekicks, Frank Adler and Frank Nastasi, and I liked Nastasi too. But the show in Detroit was real intimate, and that's super funny. So I liked the Soupy Sales. I used to watch it with my mom every Saturday when I was a little kid. And we'd eat bagels and lox in front of the TV and watch Soupy Sales. That was my favorite. And I liked Twilight Zone and Outer Limits. I liked sci-fi. I like sci-fi and horror, so I like that show. And later on, Star Trek, of course, the original Star Trek. I was already a teenager when I did Star Trek, but Twilight Zone and Soupy Sales were my 2 favorites.
How different was it between voicing for Lord Zedd and voicing for the Digimon series?
How
different were they?
Different. Oh, very different. Well, Lord Zedd, I was the main character, and Digimon, I wasn't the main character. So Lord Zedd, I had a lot of power, and of course I did Finster in Lord Zedd too. That was a challenge to do both voices. It was neat. Digimon sort of, I went in and did my job, and I was only on for 2 seasons or 1 season?
2.
I don't remember, 2 seasons. Yeah. I like the Power Rangers, of course. That show is dear to my heart. I mean, I made a lot of money relatively on that show. Because I also wrote for the show. The first year and a half or so, season and a half. I wrote the Japanese into English dialogue. So that was nice. So I made some extra bucks that way. But comparatively, we got paid peanuts compared to, I did 4 episodes of Spider-Man. And as Microchip, the Punisher's sidekick. And I made a lot more money in those 4 episodes, per episode, than I did on Power Rangers. Because Power Rangers was non-union. I did the last 3 episodes of Lord Zedd as the show was union. And I made less money. Well, it worked out to about the same eventually because I got residuals. But I made actually less money once it was union. But that's the way it goes. My residuals are these conventions, I guess. And Saban gave me a nice health plan. for like 12 years, I was under their health plan, so that was really nice of them to do that. Even though I wasn't a full-time employee, so to speak. I was making full-time type wages, so they got me on their health plan. And I got a lot of... Another question?
Perfect.
Is that going to ruin your shooting if I sit down?
No,
No, you're fine.
Okay?
It has 25 minutes on it, and it was just right at that marker.
Oh, okay.
So you got the right
Yes,
timing.
Do you have Zedd staff?
Zedd Sav?
Staff.
Lord Zedd staff.
Oh, the staff. No. Gee, they didn't make anything available from Lord Zedd. They didn't make anything available. That costume, I don't know where it is. It's locked away in a vault of some kind or something. But I didn't even try to get that. I suppose I could have asked for it. But at that time, I wasn't into memorabilia. I said, well, the character's over, let's move on to the next thing. You know, I didn't want to get stuck in it, so... and I sort of regret that now, but that's showbiz. Yeah. I suppose I could have gotten a little piece of the costume, maybe the mask or something like that. Another question? Well, let's see. Let's talk about some things I've done recently. Lately, I've been... how many people know Tim and Eric? Yeah, I'm a regular on that show. And check it out with Dr. Steve Brule. Do you know that one, the John C. Reilly show? I play Terry Bouge Hiplo, the newsman. And there's a new show that came out. We did a sort of goofy sitcom called Bag Boy. That's out. You can see it on YouTube. Just put Bag Boy in the search engine, and in the search slot, and I think you'll find it that way. Or you can put in Robert Axelrod, and, well, you'll see all the interviews, endless interviews that they put up there, put on there, all with the same questions. That's all right. And I just did a TV show called True Nightmares, which is going to be on the Discovery Channel. The Discovery Channel has a couple of channels. I didn't quite, they explained it to me, but I didn't quite get it. So I'll have to look for that. I didn't do very much in it, but the pay was okay. If they're paying, I'm there. Were you going to raise your hand? Yeah, well, come on up to the microphone.
How did you get started as a voice actor? Like, what was your inspiration to start voice acting?
How did I start in the business?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I got inspired to do it as a young child. I was in kindergarten, and we'd play all kinds of games in kindergarten. And one time the teacher brought in an old TV set that was all hollowed out. So one by one, she was putting us inside the TV set and telling us to entertain the rest of the class. This is pretty intimidating for a 5-year-old kid. Just go into the TV set and entertain. No script or anything, not that we would memorize lines when we were 5 years old. So I had to think quickly. So rather than get intimidated, I stole an idea from a comedian, one of my favorite comedians. I also like watching the Ed Sullivan Show. Remember Ed Sullivan? He had the Beatles on. He was the first show to have the Beatles on American TV. But he had a variety show, and he had this comedian on regularly named Senor Wences. He was Spanish, Senor Wences. And he did a routine, one of the routines Senor Wences does, he'd make his hand into a puppet. He'd paint 2 eyes here and lips here, and he'd have the character talking like this. And he'd put a little wig on the top of his knuckles to make hair, and he'd have a little hand puppet. And so I stole that from him, and I got into the TV set, and I made each hand a puppet, and I just created a little conversation, and the kids loved it. They cracked up. That inspired me to, I knew I had something going, as John Lennon would say. When I was a teenager, I knew I had something going. So that inspired me to continue with it. When I was a kid, I did a couple of commercials, but I wasn't really serious about it. I was a very scattered child, in a good way, because I liked to do everything. I was an athlete, if you could believe that. I was a hockey player. I was a little heavier than I am now. When I was playing hockey, I weighed in. Well, I weighed 160 when I was playing hockey, but then I lost 30 pounds because it was baby fat. So I went down to 130, but I did it not by starving myself, but by playing a lot of hockey and exercising. So I was in good shape. So I wanted to play hockey, I wanted to play basketball. I wasn't serious about becoming a professional actor per se. And I got no parental help whatsoever from my mom and dad. They just, I don't know, didn't believe. They wanted to see me graduate college and, I don't know, be a lawyer or what have you. I really didn't know what was going on inside their heads. And I didn't care because I was always an independent kid. So finally, when I was 18 or 19, I quit school and joined a theater company downtown. I'm from New York City, and I joined a professional theater company, and I was with them for 2 years. And then for some reason I quit and decided to be a musician. This is what I mean by scattered. When I was 18, I broke my leg in a motorcycle accident, so I had a lot of time on my hands. So I learned how to play the guitar. And then I took up the bass guitar, because I just had an affinity for the bass guitar. And I got pretty good, and I quit acting to be a musician for 8 years, between age 20 to age 28. Those are the prime years for an actor to really start making it in the business. And I blew it by doodling around as a musician. I made some money. I didn't want to be a rock star. I just wanted to play to make a living. But bands kept breaking up. I did a two-man act that broke up. I did a couple of bands that broke up. And these were bands that were making money. But for some reason or other, so I got fed up with music. I went to LA as a musician. I migrated to Los Angeles as a musician. And finally I got fed up with music and went back into acting. And luckily I found an acting teacher who taught how to get jobs as an actor. That's a big part of it, is not only being talented enough and getting training as an actor, but how to get jobs. So I glommed onto that, and pretty soon I got my first job in 1978 in an educational film. And then slowly but surely I built up my resume by working all these jobs. I got into the Actors Union in 1979, which was a big leap, a big step forward. And I've been doing it ever since. So I finally got centered on acting in 1978, 79. So I forgot what the question was, but I guess that answers it. Yeah, what inspired me? So, yeah, that time getting into the TV sets was my first inspiration. And school was pretty good. I was in all the school plays when I was in junior high and high school. And that was fun and rewarding. And but the main thing was the training I got in New York, and then the training I got in Los Angeles as an actor. They were both teachers who taught. See, you get a teacher who teaches you what to do. And acting becomes a big mystery because they know what to do and you don't. And the teacher keeps telling you what to do. Do it this way, do it that way. Got to find a teacher who teaches the hows, how to do it, how to approach a character, how to get the desired effect, create the desired effect. And I was lucky enough to find two teachers who taught that. And, you know, their viewpoint was, I'm going to teach you so much, my second teacher in LA, I'm going to teach you so much and then get out of here. Don't keep going to school. Go out and work. Because he taught how to get jobs. He said, start promoting now. Because it's going to take you 2 years to get on the map. Unless you're young and very beautiful, which I was not when I got back into acting. I was a character actor. So, there it is. Another question? I've still got 20 minutes. What am I going to talk about? Yes?
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food? Banana. Bananas. I have a banana shake when I'm home. I can't do it on the road. But I make myself a banana shake every day around 3 o'clock with 2 bananas, some powder that's banana flavored, a bottle of Boost. You know what Boost is?
Yeah.
It's just protein drink. Yeah. It's thick, so it makes the shake come out thick. Bottle of Boost, 2 bananas, the banana mix, 3 sweet and lows, and 2 scoops of protein powder that I get at a place called Trader Joe's, which is a supermarket chain in LA. And I put it in a blender, mix it up for about a minute, and it comes out nice and thick. And I either have it with cereal or drink it just straight. And it's banana. I love anything that has banana flavor. Banana cream pie, banana pudding. So banana's my favorite food. Anybody got a banana?
No banana. The question.
Yeah. No bananas in the green room. Yes, sir. Jump across there.
This is probably going to be really obscure, but what was it like to work on Michael Jackson's Stranger in Moscow video?
What is it? Stranger in Moscow?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Stranger in Moscow, for those of you who don't know, was a Michael Jackson video that I co-starred in, or starred in. I was one of the main characters. And I played a homeless guy. It was a wonderful, wonderful video that unfortunately I did not get paid that well. But it was nice to do the work. There were a lot of special effects, so the director had to pretty much talk me through what I was supposed to do. There was one scene where slow motion, I'm this homeless guy, and I have to hold out my hand and somebody flips a quarter and then the quarter flies through the air in slow motion and lands in my hand. So that was pretty neat. I didn't know how it was going to come out till I finally saw it. And there was several other sections where same concept. So that was pretty weird. And then, of course, I had to, there was one scene where it rains on me. So They had, it was they were claiming that it was shot in Moscow. Of course, the lyric goes, da-da-da-da, when you're all alone, like a stranger in Moscow. So they were claiming that it was shot in Moscow with all Russian actors. And there I am on screen, and people know me. So they're lying that I was supposedly a Russian actor. So that was pretty weird. Because it was not shot in Moscow, it was shot in downtown LA with a rain machine. They had a big giant rain machine. So I was in this homeless outfit, you know, they got me all smudged up in this homeless outfit. So I decided to see if I was believable or not. So I came out of the dressing room and I sort of slunked around the van, the dressing van. And then I came out on the street where the security guard was. And I started going through the garbage and he said, hey, you can't do that, get out of here. And then I had to say, wait a minute, I'm just an actor. So I'm the actor playing. And he said, oh, okay. I didn't know. So apparently I was believable enough to be a homeless man. So homeless men have been my specialty. I've done about 10 projects when I was a homeless man. But Stranger in Moscow was a very nice piece of film that I've been able to save. You can catch it on YouTube. Just plug in Stranger in Moscow into your search, to the search bar. So it's worth taking a look at. It's only about 5-6 minutes long, 7 minutes long in the edited down version, final version. Good question. Any more? Let's see, what else can I talk about? I used to play golf. That was a frustrating game, golf. I started when I was 12 and stopped when I was 20. I didn't have the temperament to play golf. I'd throw the clubs too many times when I hit a bad shot. Stupid game. I mean, yes, sir.
Did you ever accidentally hit someone with a golf ball or a glove? Like you purposely hit someone with a glove?
No, I never hit somebody with the club. I used to throw them at trees. And I wasn't a bad golfer, but I was impatient. 10 minutes? Okay. I was very impatient with the game. I like stuff with more action. I like hockey. I was a good hockey player. So I was a swimmer. I was on the swim team in high school, but I quit because my high school was the best in the city. So I was like the fourth breaststroker, and I wasn't really interested in being the fourth string swimmer. And I was in the school play anyway, so my afternoons were taken up with rehearsals, so I couldn't do both. So I quit the swim team, which was probably a good idea. But I was on the swim team on this country club I belonged to. And I took third place in the citywide, in breaststroke in the citywide championships. My father was there. He was really proud of me. Because I came from behind and caught the guy who was in third place right at the end. And it was very exciting. So that was a nice moment. What else? Boy, I haven't thought of that in a long time. Without questions, I have to reach back into my memory noodle. And yes, another question, good. Saving me, I'm dying here.
What's your favorite song? And like
Favorite
artist?
song?
Yeah.
Oh, gee. I have a lot of them. Geez. I like The Beatles and Your Bird Can Sing is one of my favorites. And I like Here Comes the Sun. It's one of my favorites. I like a lot of the Eagles songs and the Rolling Stones. I'm a real classic rock person. I can't stand Led Zeppelin. I know you're gonna. I just can't stand them. Robert Plant sounds like a dying cat. Really awful. They continue a song way too long. They don't know when to stop. And they repeat the same thing. Da 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 na 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 na. If they shorten the songs, I could take it. But anyway, it's my Led Zeppelin thing. Another question? Yes, sir.
I was just going to get your thoughts on the fan film that you did work on, the MMP.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that turned out really well. I'm really proud of those guys. I did this trailer, and it turned out really well. We were talking about doing a whole movie, but I haven't heard anything. It's been like 2 years. I haven't heard anything. But I told him, if you got something going on, I'm in. You know, because the trailer turned out really very professional. So I committed to, at least verbally, you know, I'm there if they get it together. Of course, the whole thing is money. Everything is money. If you can raise money in this town, in Hollywood, you can succeed. I did a film called Lemro Private Eye. It was renamed Alien Private Eye. It was an awful picture. But the director, he had an knack for raising money. He got this guy who had a dental practice, I think, to invest $250,000 into this awful science fiction thriller. But I was pretty good. I played the lead bad guy. Well, the second lead bad guy. I was the sidekick. It was, oh man. Anyway, I just watched that on YouTube last week. It's funny. All right, we got time for, my watch stopped. Oh, now it started again. What time is it? I got 10 to 5. Is that true, right? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We got 10 minutes, or 8 minutes or something like that. Another question? We had some new people come in. Yes?
What was it like filming The Princess Bride?
What was it like playing
The Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
The Princess Bride? I wasn't in The Princess Bride.
He's Lord Zedd.
How did you hear that?
I don't know.
Oh. No, I wasn't in The Princess. I'm trying to think of, did I do anything with a princess in it? I thought you meant the Prince of Darkness. I played the Prince of Darkness in a movie called Exorcism. They did a 5-hour makeup job with me every day, 4 or 5 hours, to look like the devil. Had the long stringy hair and a whole prosthetic face. And, oh, it was amazing. Oh, I have a picture of it, but it's back at my table. I'm doing autographs in the vendor's room, so if anybody wants an autograph, come by and see me. I'll show you the picture of me as the Prince of Darkness. Another question? Yes, sir.
So how was it like working on Akira?
Say again?
How was it like working on Akira?
Akira, that's a long time ago. So frankly, I don't remember. It was a job. It was a job. It was a good anime job. And like all the other animes, they bring you in one at a time and just do your lines and lines and lines. You got to ask questions about what the episode is about. So it's very cut and dry, but when they edit it all together, it comes out good. It comes out nice. And if you can get in to see the screen, I don't even know what episode I did or what the. Was that episodic or was that a feature film?
Feature film.
Feature film, yeah. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it a long time ago. It was a good film. One of my favorites was a film called Metropolis that I did. And I'll show the footage that I did in tomorrow's panel. I have it on DVD. So come to my panel tomorrow. I don't know what time the panel will be, but look at the schedule. Another question? What else can I talk about? Well, Todd Habercorn is coming in at 5 o'clock, so he's a very entertaining guy. You're going to love him. Yes?
Did you get to see the Gritty fan film, and do you think Lord Zedd could have been better in it than Rita was?
The Gritty fan film?
It was an adult fan film that came out about 2 months ago.
Oh, yeah?
And they had like a really gritty, dark take on the Power Ranger franchise. And things really hit the fan quick in that movie.
And Rita was in it?
Yeah, not the actual actress, but like
the character.
The character was in it.
The character was in it, but Barbara Goodson didn't do the voice?
I don't think so, no.
She would have told me about it if she did. 1 minute. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it till now, until you mentioned it. One quick question, one more question, and I relinquish the stage. One more question.
Can you do the Zedd laugh?
I'm just getting over laryngitis. You can hear I'm kind of hoarse, so it's tough for me to do that.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I can still do the voice. Power Rangers, the earth shall be mine. Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm doing autographs next door. Come and see me and look for my panel tomorrow. Thank you all for coming, and stick around for Todd Habercorn.
Hey you! Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos. You can also check out Enemy Secrets on Twitter, Tumblr, and Facebook. Do you want more than that? I know you do. Then go to our website where you can see daily updates and articles and exclusive interviews.